Good morning. Today we're going to discuss cultural motivation and comparative study of Korean as an L2 and English as an L2 by Elena Gómez-Parra and José Salinas-Ranero. We're going to start by the theoretical backdrop, then objectives and research questions, methodology, results, discussion and conclusions, and finally references. We want to start by thinking about how to motivate students to learn a language. But what is motivation? According to Dorney and Usioda in 2011, what moves a person to make certain choices, to engage in action, to spend effort and persist in action? Such basic questions lie at the heart of motivation theory and research. So basically, we need to motivate students, but how should we? Well, some students may be motivated by language, by work, by proficiency, by the need of certain language to obtain a job, or simply to communicate in a foreign country, or just to pass exams. But there is another type of motivation according to Gómez-Parra and Salinas 2023, that is cultural motivation. There is a new term supported by the literature, for example, Brown, Byron, Crumbs, Journey, Coyle, and refers to the desire to learn a language driven by an appreciation for a culture's traditions, costumes, aesthetics, history, or lifestyle. It describes a situation where students drawn to a particular culture begin begin by learning about its people and heritage. Over time, their desire to deepen this connection leads them to start learning the language as well. We think that Korean as an L2 students, uh, they are culturally motivated, whereas English students are extrinsically motivated. They are motivated by um, marks, they are motivated by work, and they are motivated by the expectations of people around them. So, what is the main objective of this research? The main objective is to compare the experiences and motivations of students learning Korean and English as second language and to explore how cultural motivation influences their language learning journey. Research question 1 refers to what role do cultural factors such as food, makeup, music, and clothing play in learning a second language? Research question 2 is culture a decisive factor in starting to learn a language? And research question 3, how important is culture for language learning? The methodology. So, this comparative research focuses on 20 learners of Korean as a second language and 50 learners of English as second language, from whom data have been gathered through an online interviews focused on participants' experiences and perceptions towards the Korean and the English cultures, respectively, and their motivation to study the language. The participants who are studying Korean as L2 were selected from a snowball sampling method due to their interest in learning Korean as an L2 and the Korean culture. Most participants are of Spanish nationality, but one participant is from Latvia. They are between 15 and 54 years old, and some of them, 6 out of 20, are between 24 and 34 years old. Out of the 20 participants, 17 are female and 3 are male. Their academic levels are as follows: 7 students are either enrolled or have a master's degree, 9 are either enrolled or have a bachelor's degree, etc. The participants studying English as an L2 were university students, either of primary education degree or English studies degree. The participants, 17, who were studying a bachelor's degree in primary education were learning English as an L2 were mostly of Spanish nationality. There were 16 participants plus one Ukrainian student. They were between 15 and 54 years old, with most of them, 14, being between 15 and 24 years old. Their academic levels were as follows: 17 participants were enrolled. 17 participants were enrolled in bachelor's degree. One student mentioned having a vocational training, etc. The participants, 33, who studied a bachelor's degree and were learning English as an L2 were mostly Spanish, 27 participants. They were studying a degree on English studies. Most of them were Spanish, but we had Italians, Turkish, Honduran, Czech, and Belgian participants too. They were all between 15 and 24 years old. 30 participants were female, while 3 participants were male. Their academic levels were as follows: 33 were studying a bachelor's degree, which is really interesting. The design of this research started by addressing the main problem or issue, comparing the experiences and motivations of students learning English and Korean, and how these factors had influenced language learning journey, their language learning journey. So, let's go to the results. So the results for research question 1, what role do cultural factors such as food, makeup, music, and clothing play in learning a second language? These are part of the results. The descriptive statistics show that Korean learners place a slightly more importance on cultural factors compared to English learners, as you can see here. Additionally, the responses of Korean learners are more consistent and indicated by their lower standard deviation. A man-Whitney U test was conducted to assess the significance of difference, but the results showed no statistically significant difference between the groups. Despite this, descriptive statistics suggest that Korean learners consistently place more importance on cultural factors. So we go to research question number 2. Is culture a decisive factor in starting to learn a language? As shown in table 3, here you have it. The distribution of motivational factors varies between the two groups. English learners reported a wider range of motivations, with the majority, 50, setting school obligation. In contrast, Korean learners exclusively reported personal and cultural interest, with no other motivational factors indicated. Table 4 shows the results of the Chi-square test, indicating significant difference between English and Korean learners' motivations. This suggests that the variation in motivational factors between the groups is statistically significant. The descriptive statistic in Table 5 showed the Korean learners rated the importance of the triggering factor higher than English learners. The larger standard deviation for English group reflects greater variability in the responses, while the Korean group displayed more consistency. Among Whitley U test, Table 6, here you have it, revealed a statistically significant difference between the groups, indicating that the difference in how English and Korean learners evaluate the importance of the triggering factor as significant, as it is lower than 0.01. Yeah, 0.05, sorry. Okay, we go to research question 3. How important is culture for language learning? Descriptive statistics show that both English and Korean learners rated the importance of culture for language learning similarly, although some participants did not respond. Both groups exhibit close average and comparable variability, indicating a shared perception of culture's importance. Among when EU tests was conducted showing no statistically significant difference between the groups at the 95% level. However, the results will be significant at the 90% confidence level, suggesting that Korean learners may place more importance on culture in language learning. Culturally motivated students often start learning a language due to their interest in cultural elements rather than the language itself. For example, Korean learners are influenced by media like music and dramas. In contrast, English learners turn to study the language for external reasons, such as academic or professional needs, highlighting the different motivational factors between the two groups. These insights suggest that educators can use cultural content to enhance language learning, particularly for students who may not initially be focused on the language itself. By integrating cultural aspects into the curriculum, teachers can encourage both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, making the learning process more engaging and effective. This study points to the need for further research on cultural motivation in language acquisition. You have the references. Thank you so much, and this is the end of the presentation.